Imagine this, you wake up, look in the mirror, and realize years have passed. You had dreams, you had goals, but life happened, and now you feel stuck. You tell yourself, tomorrow I'll start, but tomorrow becomes next week, next month, next year, and suddenly it's too late. Here's the truth most people don't want to hear. You're either creating your dream life or you're sleepwalking through someone else's plan. And the worst part, most people never wake up until it's too late. Today, we're breaking that cycle. Right now, at this moment, you have a choice. Will you wake up and take control, or will you stay asleep letting life pass you by? Rule 1, the comfort zone is killing you. Let me tell you about a guy I knew, smart, talented, had big dreams. But he kept playing it safe. He had ideas, but he never took action. He was waiting for the perfect time. Guess what? That perfect time never came. And now, he's filled with regret. Why? Because the comfort zone is a slow death. It doesn't kill you instantly. It suffocates you little by little until you wake up one day and wonder where your life went. The comfort zone feels safe. It's familiar. It's predictable. And that's exactly why it's dangerous. It's the invisible cage that keeps people trapped in mediocrity, convincing them that they're okay when deep down they're unfulfilled. It whispers lies like, stay here, don't take risks. You might fail. You might look stupid. You might lose what you have. And so people stay put. They settle for jobs they hate, relationships that don't fulfill them, routines that drain their energy because at least they're comfortable. But here's what they don't realize. The comfort zone isn't just holding them back. It's slowly killing their potential. It numbs them, making them believe that good enough is good enough. It robs them of the urgency to grow, to push, to evolve. They don't see the danger because it doesn't happen overnight. It happens in small, almost unnoticeable ways. A missed opportunity here, a fear-based decision there, a habit of procrastination that turns into years of wasted time. The problem is the longer you stay in your comfort zone, the harder it becomes to break free. It becomes your identity. You start to think, maybe this is just who I am. Maybe I'm not meant for more. And that's the biggest lie of all. Think about the moments in your life when you felt most alive, the times when you were challenged, when you faced uncertainty but pushed through anyway. That's when you grew. That's when you became stronger. That's when you proved to yourself that you were capable of more. But growth doesn't happen inside the comfort zone. It happens when you step outside of it, when you face fear, when you take risks, when you do the things that scare you. Most people wait until life forces them out of their comfort zone, until they lose a job, go through a breakup, or face a crisis that shakes them awake. But why wait for pain to push you when you can make the choice yourself? Why wait until regret is staring you in the face before you decide to act? Because here's the harsh truth. The comfort zone feels safe, but it's the riskiest place you can be. It's where dreams go to die. It's where people sleepwalk through life, convincing themselves they have time, when in reality, time is slipping away every single day. Rule 2, your mind is your prison or your power. The difference between people who succeed and those who stay stuck? Mindset. Every single person you admire, every success story you hear, it started with someone who refused to believe the lie that they weren't good enough or it's too late. Your mind will either chain you to your past or push you toward your future, but you decide which one it is. Your mind is the most powerful tool you have. It can be your greatest weapon or your worst enemy. It's the filter through which you experience life, shaping your decisions, your habits, and ultimately your destiny. But here's the problem. Most people don't even realize they are prisoners of their own thinking. They don't see the invisible chains holding them back because those chains aren't physical. They are built from years of self-doubt, past failures, and the beliefs they've accepted as truth without ever questioning them. Every single day, your mind is feeding you a narrative. It's telling you a story about who you are, what you're capable of, and what's possible for your future. And for most people, that story is a prison. It sounds like, I'm not smart enough. I'm not talented enough. I wasn't born into the right circumstances. I'll never succeed like those people do. These thoughts may seem harmless at first, but they are like walls closing in around you. The more you accept them, the tighter the prison becomes, and eventually you stop fighting. You accept it. You make peace with your limitations. You settle for a life that is smaller than what you are truly capable of. But what if that story is a lie? What if the only thing standing between you and the life you want is the belief that you can't have it? Think about how many people have risen from nothing, people who had no connections, no resources, no advantages, yet they refuse to accept that their circumstances would define their future. What's the difference between them and someone who stays stuck? It's not talent. It's not luck. It's mindset. The mind is not just a storyteller. It's also a builder. The thoughts you feed it shape your actions, and your actions create your reality. If you tell yourself every day that you're not good enough, you will act in ways that reinforce that belief. You'll hesitate. You'll second guess yourself. You'll avoid opportunities because deep down, you don't believe you deserve them. But if you start feeding your mind a different story, one that says, I am capable, I am resourceful, I will figure it out, your actions begin to change. You take more risks, you push past fear, you create momentum, and with momentum comes progress. The truth is your mind is a muscle, and just like any muscle, it can be trained. The problem is most people have been training their minds to work against them instead of for them. They've spent years strengthening their doubts, their fears, and their excuses, and now those things feel real even though they are just mental habits. But just as negative thoughts can be reinforced, so can positive ones. Every time you challenge a limiting belief, every time you refuse to let fear control you, every time you push yourself beyond what you thought was possible, you are breaking out of the prison and stepping into your power. What's crazy is that this transformation doesn't require anything external. You don't need more money, more education, or more connections to start rewiring your mind. You just need awareness. You need to recognize the thoughts that are keeping you trapped and consciously replace them with new ones. You need to stop treating your doubts as facts and start questioning them. Because when you change your mindset, you don't just change how you think, you change how you show up in the world, and that changes everything. Rule 3, stop waiting. Nobody is coming to save you. Let's be brutally honest. No one is coming to rescue you. Not your parents, not your friends, not your boss. If you're waiting for permission to change your life, consider this your wake-up call. Permission granted. The moment you take full responsibility for where you are is the moment everything starts to shift. Most people live their entire lives waiting for the right opportunity, waiting for someone to notice them, waiting for permission. They sit back and hope that someday someone will come along and give them the break they need, show them the path, or push them towards success. But that's the biggest lie they've been told, the idea that help is on the way, that there's a mentor, a boss, a friend, a perfect moment that will magically change everything. The truth, nobody is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you your dream life on a silver platter. No one is going to show up and say, here, take this opportunity, take this success, take this happiness. That's your job, your responsibility. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you take control of your life. Look around at the people who are truly thriving, the ones who built businesses, mastered skills, created wealth, found happiness, achieved their dreams. Do you think they were just lucky that someone came along and made it easy for them? No, they made a decision to stop waiting and start moving. They didn't have all the answers. They didn't have everything figured out, but they knew one thing. If they didn't take control of their own lives, no one else would. The problem is people love to believe that something outside of them is the reason they're stuck. I didn't have the right parents. I wasn't given the right education. I don't have the right connections. The system is against me. The timing isn't right. And while some of those things may be true, they don't change the reality. Your life is still your responsibility. The moment you give power to external factors is the moment you give up control. Think about this. How many people have been in worse situations than you and still made it happen? How many stories have you heard of people who came from nothing, faced impossible odds, and still built extraordinary lives? The only difference between them and someone who stays stuck is that they didn't wait. They didn't wait for someone to believe in them. They didn't wait for the right resources. They didn't wait for a guarantee of success. They moved, they acted, they figured it out along the way. And that's what most people don't want to hear. It's easier to wait. It's easier to blame. It's easier to tell yourself that it's just not the right time, that you're not ready, that you need more preparation. But all that is just an excuse to stay comfortable. Because the moment you take full ownership of your life, you also take ownership of the failures, the struggles, the obstacles. And most people don't want that responsibility. They want the reward, but they don't want the weight that comes with it. But here's the thing, waiting doesn't protect you. It doesn't keep you safe. It doesn't ensure success. It only guarantees one thing, wasted time. Time that you will never get back. Time that could have been spent learning, growing, failing, and getting closer to where you want to be. And the harshest reality of all, nobody cares about your excuses. The world doesn't stop because you're afraid, because you're unsure, because you don't feel ready. Life keeps moving, and if you don't move with it, you get left behind. It says you don't need another sign. You don't need more proof. You don't need permission. You already have everything you need inside of you. The only question is, when will you finally stop waiting? Rule 4, the pain of change versus the pain of regret. Yeah, change is uncomfortable. Waking up early, working when you don't feel like it, pushing through failure, it's hard. But you know what's worse? Regret. 5, 10, 20 years from now, you don't want to look back and wish you had started sooner. You don't want to wonder what if. Pain is inevitable, but you get to choose the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Change is painful. There's no way around it. It demands effort, discipline, sacrifice. It forces you to break old habits, to push through discomfort, to let go of what's familiar. It requires you to face your fears head on, to embrace uncertainty, to take risks when there are no guarantees. And for most people, that's terrifying. That's why they resist change, even when they know it's necessary. Even when they feel stuck, unhappy, or unfulfilled, they convince themselves that staying the same is easier. But here's what they don't see. Avoiding the pain of change doesn't make it disappear. It only replaces it with something far worse, the pain of regret. Regret is not loud. It doesn't scream at you in the moment like discomfort does. It creeps up on you slowly, quietly, over time. It starts as a whisper, I'll do it later, I have time. Then days turn into months, months turn into years, and one day you look back and realize that the window of opportunity has closed. The dreams you once had, gone. The potential you ignored, wasted. The life you could have lived, never even started. People think they are avoiding pain by staying in their comfort zone, but what they're really doing is making a trading short-term comfort for long-term suffering, because while the pain of change is temporary, the pain of regret lasts forever. You can push through a tough workout and build strength, or you can avoid it and feel weak. You can endure the challenge of learning a new skill, or you can take the easy way out and stay stagnant. You can go through the discomfort of starting a business, having tough conversations, taking risks, or you can play it safe and wake up one day wondering, what if? The worst part about regret is that it's permanent. You can't go back in time, you can't rewrite the past, you can't undo the opportunities you missed. And that's what makes it so much worse than the temporary struggle of change, the pain of discipline, the pain of failure, the pain of stepping outside your comfort zone. Those things fade. But the pain of looking back and knowing you could have been more, done more, lived more, that stays with you. Regret is the weight of untapped potential. It's the realization that you settled for less when you could have had more. It's knowing that the only thing that ever stopped you was you. And the scariest part, you don't feel it right away. It builds over time. It's not like the immediate sting of hard work, of rejection, of failure. It's slow, creeping, relentless. It waits until you've lost the chance to do something about it, and then it hits you with full force. This is why people in their later years talk about their regrets more than anything else. They don't regret the things they tried and failed at. They regret the things they never had the courage to do, the words they never said, the risks they never took, the version of themselves they never became because they were too afraid of the short-term pain of change. The truth is, both paths involve pain. One is the pain of discipline, of growth, of pushing yourself beyond what's comfortable. The other is the pain of looking back and wishing you had. The difference is one leads to progress, to achievement, to a life you can be proud of. The other leads to an endless cycle of if only. Rule 5, small shifts, massive results. People think they need to make some massive overnight change to turn their life around. Wrong. Success is built on small, consistent actions. Wake up 30 minutes earlier. Read 10 pages a day. Take one small step outside your comfort zone every single day. Because small actions, when repeated, create unstoppable momentum. Most people believe that success comes from making massive, life-altering changes overnight. They think they need to completely transform themselves, break every bad habit at once, or take some huge leap into the unknown. And because that seems overwhelming, they do nothing. They wait, they procrastinate. They tell themselves, I'll start when I'm ready. I'll change when I have more time, more money, more motivation. But what they don't realize is that true transformation doesn't happen in one big moment. It happens through small, consistent shifts that compound over time. A 1% improvement every day may not seem like much in the moment, but over time, it becomes life-changing. Think about it. If you improve by just 1% each day in a year, you're not just 365% better, you're over 37 times better because of the power of compounding. The problem is most people dismiss small actions because they don't see instant results. They go to the gym for a week and don't see a six-pack, so they quit. They read a book and don't immediately feel smarter, so they stop learning. They start a side business, they don't make money right away, and assume it's not working. But success is not about explosive changes. It's about small daily improvements that stack up over time. Imagine two people standing side by side, each making tiny, almost invisible choices every day. One person makes slightly better decisions, eating a little healthier, working out for just 20 minutes, reading 10 pages of a book, setting a small goal each day. The other person makes slightly worse choices, skipping the workout, mindlessly scrolling on their phone, procrastinating on things that matter. At first, there's no noticeable difference. A week goes by, a month, and they both look the same. But fast forward a year, 5 years, 10 years, and the gap between them is enormous. One is in great shape, has a sharp mind, and is living the life they designed. The other, out of shape, unmotivated, stuck in the same cycle, wondering why nothing ever changes. This is why small shifts matter. They seem insignificant in the moment, but they set the trajectory of your life, just like a plane taking off. If it adjusts its course by just a few degrees, it ends up in an entirely different destination. The same principle applies to your habits, your mindset, your daily actions. The tiny choices you make today determine where you end up years from now. Think about someone who wants to lose weight. They don't need to starve themselves or spend hours in the gym. They just need to make small, sustainable changes. Drinking more water, walking a little more, making slightly better food choices. Over time, these small actions compound and suddenly they've transformed their body. The same goes for financial success. You don't need to win the lottery. You just need to save a little more, invest wisely, and stay consistent. Over time, your money grows and you build wealth. The key is consistency. Small shifts work only if you keep at them. The reason most people fail is not because they don't start, it's because they don't stick with it long enough to see results. They expect overnight success, and when it doesn't happen, they give up. But the people who succeed are the ones who understand that tiny improvements, done consistently, create unstoppable momentum. This is the secret behind every major success story, whether it's in health, business, relationships, or personal growth. The people who achieve incredible results are the ones who focus on making small daily improvements. They understand that greatness is not built in a day, it's built in the small choices, the tiny habits, and the consistent actions that add up over time. Rule 6, your time is now, no more excuses. This is it, right here, right now. You have a choice. Are you going to keep living on autopilot, keep waiting for the right moment, or are you going to wake up, and take control of your life. No more someday. No more maybe later. Your future starts today. There is no perfect time, no perfect moment, no ideal set of circumstances where everything will align and success will magically fall into your lap. And yet, most people live as if there is. They tell themselves, I'll start when I have more time. I'll take action when I feel ready. I'll go after my dreams when life settles down. And so they wait, they hesitate, they let opportunities slip through their fingers because they're convinced that later is a better option than now. But here's the truth. Later is a lie. Later is an illusion that keeps you trapped in the same cycle, living the same life, making the same excuses. The reality is the only time you ever have is now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not someday. Now. Because if you keep waiting, you'll wake up one day realizing that later never came, and worse, you've run out of time. Look at your life right now. Think about all the things you've told yourself you would do. Start that business, get in shape, work on your mindset, build that skill, improve your relationships. How long have you been telling yourself you'll start soon? A month, a year, 5 years? How much longer are you willing to wait? Because every second you delay, someone else is out there making moves, getting ahead, taking the risks you won't take. Someone else with the same fears, doubts, and obstacles as you is doing the work while you sit back and convince yourself it's not the right time. And that's the biggest difference between people who succeed and people who stay stuck. It's not talent, it's not luck, it's not even resources, it's urgency. Successful people don't wait for motivation, they don't wait for confidence, they don't wait for conditions to be perfect. They act now even when they don't feel ready, even when they don't have all the answers. They understand that action creates momentum and momentum creates results. But most people, they stay trapped in excuse mode. I don't have the time. Really? How much time do you spend watching TV, scrolling on social media, doing things that don't push you forward? The truth is, you don't lack time. You lack priorities. I don't have the money. The internet has given you access to unlimited free resources, knowledge, and tools to start something from nothing. People have built businesses with no money. People have transformed their bodies with no fancy gym. The real issue is not a lack of money. It's a lack of creativity and commitment. I don't know how no one does. At the beginning, every expert was once a beginner. Every successful person started without knowing all the steps. The difference is they started anyway. They figured it out along the way. And that's exactly what you need to do. Excuses feel good in the moment because they let you off the hook. They give you a reason to stay comfortable. But they are also the very thing standing between you and the life you want. Every time you make an excuse, you reinforce the habit of inaction. And every time you delay, you make it harder to break free. Time is the most valuable resource you have, and once it's gone, you can't get it back. Think about that for a second. Every moment you waste on hesitation, doubt, and fear is time you could have spent getting closer to your dreams. And the longer you wait, the further away they get. Your time is now, not when you feel more prepared, not when you have more money, not when things get easier, now. Because if you don't take action today, then when? At the end of the day, everything comes down to one simple truth. Your life is in your hands. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to do the work for you. You can either stay in your comfort zone and live with regret, or you can push through the discomfort of change and create the life you were meant to live. Your mind can be your prison, trapping you in fear, doubt, and hesitation, or it can be your greatest weapon, empowering you to break free and achieve things you never thought possible. But that choice is yours. Every small shift you make today, no matter how insignificant it seems, has the power to compound into massive results over time. The only difference between success and failure is consistency. And time is running out. Every second you spend making excuses, waiting for the right moment, or doubting yourself is time you will never get back. The pain of regret is far worse than the pain of effort. So stop waiting, stop hesitating. Your time is now. No more excuses, no more delays. Make the decision, take the action, and start becoming the person you were meant to be today.